Her name is Lauren Hemker. She is an entrepreneur located here in Louisville, Kentucky. What she has here is a functional fashion brand that goes by the name of Audrey Liz. Again, this is the first of the Louisville Grind podcast installment. And let's go ahead and give her a warm welcome. Lauren, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So we kind of got a chance to cover some of the things that your business does and some of the things that you all are planning to do. And I just kind of wanted to give you an opportunity to, give our listeners, our viewers, a good idea of what your business is, what your current goal is.
All right. Well, Audrey Liz is a brand of post-surgical garments for women that are functional and fashionable, and it's really just designed to make women feel like women after they've gone through a surgery, such as a mastectomy, lumpectomy, heart surgery. Anything that has a surgical drain is really our focus for right now, and they're really flattering, and we're excited to launch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when is the launch date?
We'll start production in January, and we're hoping to launch in February.
Okay. All right. So right around the corner.
Yes.
Right around the corner.
So soon.
Yeah. Really exciting. So, how did you get started? What was, take me through the process of, figuring out this was the type of business that you wanted and the reasoning behind it all. Just kind of run me through that, if you will.
Yeah. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer several years ago, and she went through several surgeries, and throughout all of those, it was really frustrating to see what was out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely medical garments available, but they're all very medical grade. None of them are really flattering, especially when you go through something that's very defeminizing, like having your breasts removed. And it was frustrating too, because that's kind of the time when everyone comes out of the woodwork and wants to see you after your surgery. So it's something that I kind of sat on for a little bit, and then I randomly, was telling my parents about it at dinner, and they encouraged me to pursue it, and did a lot of market research to see what else was out there, what the voids really were, and we are 3 years later, and
here we are.
So yeah,
that's awesome. So 3 years. So you've been working on this for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So almost exactly 3 years ago is whenever I contacted an attorney to file a patent on the design of one of the main garments. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. Really exciting. So, first and foremost, obviously, the amount of time that went into your business is probably, what maybe most people, most entrepreneurs kind of forget about, the time that you have to spend to develop your product, develop your business, hone in on the idea that you have and really create something that's going to last, because obviously that's the end goal, right? That's really awesome. All right. So I guess my next question is, throughout your journey, we can obviously think of, a million different things that might come at us that are not planned for, that might kind of, throw us off track, so to speak. What were some of the, if you could name maybe 2 or 3 hurdles that you kind of had to deal with, while developing your business and coming up with this idea? What were those?
As far as the concept goes, it was hard to come up with a design that was universally flattering for so many different body types and various sizes. So that was something that, even, a year ago we were still playing with. We've been through so many samples of just small tweaks trying to get that right. And so that, I think, was a big struggle for us. As far as, going out and finding resources to help us produce the garment, I think it was hard being, my mom and I from Kentucky, getting people to take us seriously and give us time to, hear us out or show us, their fabrics, or even consider producing our garments. So I think that's something that kind of got, for a while, it was a really disappointing thing.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
It had to be. Yeah. Okay. How did you deal with it? Did you come up with a better game plan? Was it something specific that, was kind of the indicator of, maybe trying something a bit different or new, or was there anything along those lines that happened?
Yeah, I think we learned to, that, finding someone that will do, the sewing or, make samples for us is just as much of a commitment for them. So they're kind of interviewing us too. It's not like we're giving them business. And so I kind of started approaching it from, okay, let's pitch it to them. And from there, kind of tweaked what information I gave people. Sometimes I completely left out the medical component because that scared people away. Other times I led with, that in our story. Sometimes I just sent an email and said, I need to get in front of you, because I felt like I was going to get shut down and if they heard anything about it. So it was kind of almost approaching it from that point.
So from like a sales standpoint, that's interesting because, a lot of times, like when we're thinking of our business and coming up with ideas and all that good stuff, it sounds awesome in our head, right? Always does.
Yeah.
It sounds perfect. But when you're confronted with a client or a potential investor or something like that, it's really important to come up with a sales pitch, a 30-second elevator pitch where you can, rattle that off, very quickly and get to your point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's very noteworthy.
That was, on that note, someone had said, you have a very compelling story, but you don't tell me why. Why do we need these garments?
Right.
And so I think that's something to keep in mind with your elevator speech. Don't forget the why.
The why. Yeah, because I think that's what people, connect with the most, Absolutely. Because with your particular business, I would imagine there's tons of people who could definitely, benefit from this. And, it's good that you kind of went back, assessed things again, and figured out, like, how can I say this? You know what I mean? Because it is very important for women to, to feel beautiful, no matter what. And I think that's awesome. That's really awesome.
You.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of leads into my next question. So, thinking back throughout the journey again, if you could, get a bird's eye view on yourself 5-10 years ago from right now, what's something that you would tell yourself? What's a piece of advice that you would give yourself?
Well, I really like that question. My first instinct is that I wouldn't have really any advice, mainly because every time that something hasn't worked out, throughout this whole journey, the alternative has been even better. So all the times that I've been just so frustrated and devastated and felt, like somebody, screwed you over, the people that you end up working with, or, the fabric materials that you find to replace that has just been better and better. So that's my instinct whenever you ask the question. But I wish I had known, I guess, just the general landscape of the industry, how competitive it is, to find someone to produce your items in the U.S. I think that would have helped me navigate it a little bit smarter and could have saved me a little bit of time. I also think the time management portion of as an entrepreneur is so hard to.
I think we all struggle with that.
Yeah, prioritize things, and that's the biggest thing is time management. I still struggle with that.
It's tough. Creating lists. I found that. Well, here's what I do. So, like in my day-to-day in the morning, what I'll do is I'll kind of write out my goals. Always put a number to it because obviously, it's not a goal unless it's measurable. So I do that, and then that alone, honestly, just kind of helps me stay focused throughout the day and, dedicate a certain amount of time towards X, Y, and Z. And, I found that it really does help. So let's see here. What's something that you would maybe advise someone else? Like, what's the best tip that you would give to someone else who's an entrepreneur or thinking about entrepreneurship and, thinking of their own business and things like that? And maybe they just don't know how to start. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to contact or anything like that. What's something that you might advise them to do to get that first step going?
I would say, get some stuff on paper, do some market research. And there's a ton of great resources online. There's sometimes too much, but I think that gives you a good, starting point at least. And you don't have to have a ton of money to start a business. Yeah. You probably have to have a little bit to, get it to grow it where you want it to be. But I think that's something that everybody wants to start with, like, having a Kickstarter or, that's not really the starting point.
Yeah.
You can make a website for free. You can buy a domain name for 13 cents,
Right.
You don't have to spend a ton of money at the very beginning.
I think that's a really big misconception too, is that you have to come into the game with a couple $100, maybe a couple thousand, or investment or something like that. Is that what you did, or did you have your own finances, or did you seek investment? What was your route?
I've self-funded the entire way. So me and my dad have gone in 50-50. And I did consider at one point, should I be, getting an investor, looking at that. But I think just having the autonomy and the ability to have full control over your business, and
huge.
Especially when you believe in it, like, we do, I think that that's something that's pretty invaluable. I did live at home for 3 years, saving money.
So there was a grind. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was a struggle in itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sacrifice, it's for the greater good, though. And I think it's important, too, because you have, in order to gain something, you've got to give something up.
Absolutely.
And as much as people would like to think that they do that or they're on the right path to creating something, that can often be overlooked, too. So that says a lot about your character, too, that you believed in this and, you thought that, with the right amount of focus and dedication and stuff like that, you can really make it happen.
Thank you. I think there's something very calming about knowing, like, you're doing the right thing and you're on the right path, no matter how risky it is. I think that
absolutely.
To me, very calming about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if we can just kind of dive into, you've got a tech pack right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been working on your, design? Kind of just quickly just kind of run me through what you have there.
So tech pack is what you would bring to like a factory or somebody that is going to consider, producing your garments. And there's a bunch of, templates online, which is kind of where I started with the template and then manipulating it. But you include a bunch of stuff, you name your style, you list all the colors it's available in, you provide information as far as like where the label's going to go, how is it going to be folded whenever, they finish producing
all the ins and outs.
So they should be able to take this pack and completely make your garment without needing you.
Right.
So, and a lot of times it's easy. It's better to be, some of it seems intuitive, but no, it's you don't want to leave anything up to anyone's creative license whenever it's something you've worked hard to create.
Absolutely.
And so, and the tech pack is something that, I've got several variations of it. I've got, kind of like we said, approaching it from a sales standpoint. Some companies, I didn't give them, the medical background on like who this is going to benefit. I just gave them strictly, the pages that have the garments and the specifics on it. I liked having an intro because I think it made it more personal. I think a lot of people don't fully understand the whole drain component unless you've been involved in it.
Right.
if you have been involved in it, then I think you know it too well. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Let's see here. So a little bit earlier, you talked about when that can be, or when that will be launched, top of the year. Okay. All right. So we got a fire round, is what we're calling it. So we rapid fire. So we got a few questions here. Don't feel the need to take a long time answering them. Just maybe the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And this is more so just kind of general, business stuff or whatever. But question one, what book are you currently reading? And so two-part question, sorry. What book are you currently reading, and what is your favorite business book?
I'm currently reading a book called Jo Malone. It's about the life of Jo Malone. I don't know if you know who she is. She created a line of perfumes that are awesome. And what's really interesting about her is she's got this whole empire, beauty empire, and she is so dyslexic that she can't drive herself.
That's interesting.
That
inspiring too.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So, my favorite business book is a book my dad bought me. It's called Break Your Own Rules. And I reference that a lot. I go back to it all the time.
Okay. That's awesome. Do you try to find time to read each day, or?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Instead of messing around on my phone before I go to bed, I've tried to transition to reading.
That's tough too. Because it's so easy just to have the phone right by the nightstand.
Oh my goodness.
You got social media, you have emails, and a million other things that you could definitely be distracted by. So definitely take some willpower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I typically do my reading in the morning.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, I found that it just kind of starts the day off right. Just soaking in some good energy, and that way I can apply it throughout the whole day, and there you go.
So do you set a timer then?
Not a timer, so more of a mental timer, I would say. So I kind of base it off of either a chapter or until I get what I'm looking for. If that makes sense. So I'll kind of just know, for lack of a better term, when to stop. Yeah.
That's cool.
Second question, how leads right into it. How do you start your morning?
Well, my dog normally starts my morning.
So you don't have a choice.
Her name's Paisley Pickles. She's awesome. So after I take care of her, as far as once I always get dressed, even working from home, I like to get dressed because I feel like mentally it helps me. There were
big difference, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Crazy. At first I was embracing the whole sweatpant thing and gosh, yeah.
Horrible decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to get dressed up every day, and then I just go and I sit in my kitchen bar,
Yeah.
So I get dressed, fully ready, and then, I like to give myself 30 minutes to mess around on the computer. So I'll, online shop or, read the news, anything like that. But I have to put a limit on it because otherwise
Going on forever, right?
Oh my goodness, yes. And then I'll jump into it. I always start with emails, and then and I have to make a list as well.
Yeah.
I found that breaking it up into business, personal, and then errands that's how
interesting.
Because I was combining all of my lists into one, and it was getting a little
overwhelming.
Yeah, and confusing. It wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, because I'd imagine that would help you just plan your priorities out.
Right. Well, because especially at the beginning, when you first start working from home, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to throw in a little laundry, and I'm going to, I'll just vacuum this quick, and it's you can't.
The discipline is really that's really what it is. You have to create a system and make tweaks along the way. But yeah, I think that it does really say a lot about any successful person. The morning routine, the routine in general has to be something that's every single day, no matter what. Yeah, I think that's really important. Really important. What about your hobbies? So when you're not working on your business, what do you do? What do you like to do?
Well, naturally, especially coming from the fashion industry, I love to shop, and even not necessarily even buying things, just seeing, going to stores, seeing all the merchandise stuff. I know you're laughing, guys don't necessarily always relate to that. I also love skiing, a little bit harder in Kentucky.
Nice.
But hiking and tennis and definitely being outside,
Mm-hmm.
especially whenever you're inside all day.
Right. So when you shop, do you like reverse engineer how, like, you know, because I'll think about myself, like if I'm buying a pair of shoes,
Mhm.
right? I'm online shopping. I may have been looking for this pair of shoes for 4 months, 6 months. And then, but when I buy it, you know, I like to think back, like, how did they get me? You know what I mean? Like, what did they do? What buttons did they push to get me to put? Do you do the same thing when you're shopping, like being that you're in the fashion industry?
Whenever I go into a store, I normally know exactly what I want because I've looked at it online. So it's pretty efficient, but it's more like the research that goes into it. Like I'll always read reviews to see the sizing and all of that. I think I'm more fascinated by their marketing. You know, companies marketing now. You know, I think after everything kind of went downhill, the economy, companies had to get really promotional, and it's hard for those companies that aren't naturally promotional to get back out of that habit. Because you can't really take it away once you've given it out. So I think that's more interesting to see like what dynamic you know they're approaching with. So.
Of course. Do you ever apply some of the things that you pick up to your own business?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I take screenshots all the time. Just I love how they approach this issue, or even emails I get where I'm like, this is really well said and thoughtful. I have a whole file folder of that.
That's important too. Like the constant learning. You know what I mean? Like whenever you're in business for yourself, you obviously have to constantly be picking up on new trades, new skills, sales. That you obviously saw that okay, maybe I need to dial things back and work on my sales pitch. That in itself just I think people often overlook that as well. Just the fact that it's constantly a learning process, and you can never know enough, right?
Right.
So very important. Very important. All right, so I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
What's something that you want people to know about you or about your business that they don't yet know?
I think something that's important to know is about us would be the quality, and you might be getting more than what you pay for. I think the level of customer service, we want everyone to be comfortable shopping online, no matter how old you are, how young you are. I've ordered so much stuff online where it comes and I'm like, man,
not what I expected.
Don't want that. We want everyone to feel confident with what they're buying, and if you're not, take care of it. So, and also, we spent a lot of time figuring out every single component, every seam, every pleat is intentional. And so, as far as, and that goes back to the quality,
Definitely. That's awesome. So I lied. I said 2 questions, but I think that might have been the last question.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, Lauren, we do appreciate your time. If you would, where can people find you if they want to keep up with your story, your journey, and want to follow along? Where can they find you?
Well, you can go to our website, audreyliz.com.
Okay.
We don't have any products up yet, but we will soon.
Okay.
And then also on social media and then LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all the same. So AudreyLiz. Okay.
Audrey Liz.
Audrey Liz. All right.
That's 3 generations of women in our family.
Really? That's really interesting. Huh. So was that someone's name, or?
So my grandma's Audrey Elizabeth. My mom's middle name is Liz. My sister's middle name is Liz, and my middle name's Audra. So.
Got you. A lot of family history in there. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
So it seemed,
Very cool.
Sense.
Very cool. Well, again, Lauren, we do appreciate your time. For all the listeners out there, you guys can tune into this podcast or the video segment through our Facebook page, which is going to be linked below. So go ahead and find us on Facebook. We are at Louisville Grind Facebook.com/Louisville Grind. You should be able to find us there. We're also on the meetup.com website and mobile app. So if you guys would like to join us, whether you're in the Louisville area and want to come and soak up some of this business knowledge that we have for you, you're more than welcome. We typically like to have our meetings between 2 and 3 weeks apart. So keep an eye on that. Again, this was the first installment of the Entrepreneur of the Month. We had Lauren Hemker tell us her wonderful story about her functional fashion brand being Audrey Liz. And once again, Lauren, we do appreciate your time. And this is Skylar signing out.